thank you for so much for joining me today. I can't find my remote control again. It always goes missing. I have got a spare one because I broke my little tripod thing. I had to buy another one and it came with another remote control, and I just tried to use it and it didn't work, so I've had to stand up and press the button. I don't think it's been that long since I brought a video to you, but it just feels like a while actually. And if it wasn't for being a bit unwell, I probably would have brought you one a bit quicker. But thank you so much for your well wishes. Like, I don't want to make a big song and dance about when I'm not feeling very well. I just had a urinary tract infection that it's, you know, I kind of left it a little bit thinking, oh, I can just drink loads and get rid of it on my own. And unfortunately that didn't happen. And then when I went to the doctors, gave a sample, it came back clear when they did the little test, and then I wasn't getting any better, so I sent in another one. It got sent to the lab, and by the time that came back and I was prescribed 3 days worth of antibiotics, I was in a bad way. I had a lot of kidney pain, and I started to have you know, the chills. I was like, my teeth were chattering, I had goosebumps, but my family said I was like burning up and things. But the doctors did extend my antibiotics. I had 10 days worth in the end, and yeah, and I've had something else going on, health and stuff. So but I'm feeling better. So the last time I filmed, I was kind of in the middle of the infection, but I was feeling a bit better, but I did sort of go downhill after that. But I was still posting a few things on social media, because there's sometimes I make things, and if you're in certain clubs you're not allowed to post them, just in case other people haven't got theirs, and I was posting things. So I've looked kind of quite active on social media, but there was times where I was just too ill to do anything. So anyway, I've got a number of things to show you. So I'm going to try and make it as quick as possible, because you know what I'm like. Oh, and actually, this isn't a recent make, but because I had a photograph of me with a hot water bottle. I think you might have seen it on YouTube, but it was definitely on social media. If you flicked across, do you know my spotty pyjamas that I made? One of the pictures, I had my hot water bottle. A number of people complimented that hot water bottle, and I just want to thank you for that. And I have got it here, and this is it. Basically, how this project came about is that I went to a quilting show at the NEC one year. I signed up to a year's subscription of a magazine back when I was buying physical magazines. I just thought, actually, oh no, it's okay, I can add a photograph in. And you got a free called layer cake. Now, for the non-quilting ladies or new quilting ladies, a layer cake is basically 2.5-inch strips of fabric across the selvage to selvage, you know, the two ends where it's attached to the machine, in loads of different designs that all complement each other from the same range, and they basically roll them all up and it looks like a cake, and that's where it comes from. And I got a layer cake. Now, I have added fabrics to this, have I? No, this particular one, these were all, apart from the grey, I think I added the grey bit. But what happened is I started to make a quilt with it, decided it didn't have the look that I was looking for, decided to scrap it, but I'd still got the pieces that I'd sewn together. Then I made a bag out of the some of the pieces I'd pieced together. Then with all the remaining pieces I hadn't sewn together, I did end up making a quilt out of it, and then I'd still got a few bits left, and that's where this hot water bottle came around. So it's a bit of a mismatch of everything, and I have like lined it as well. That wasn't a part of the collection, so it is all lined inside. Oh, and actually the binding wasn't a part of this collection either. I made that binding from a fabric from the cotton patch in Birmingham. So So yes, basically, I'll put a I found a photograph. I made sure I could find this photograph before I did this video. So here is a photograph of the bag that I made, the quilt folded up, and the hot water bottle. And I have got some hot water bottle photographs. So this is an old make, but I absolutely well, I use the bag to death really. The bag looks a bit old now, and but I'm still using this, and it comes in very handy, you know, being a lady and lady problems we have. So that is a bit of an old thing that it's just, I've bought it up just because of, you know, all the comments, and I didn't use a pattern. It was just all these pieces of fabric I'd sewn together and quilted, and I just literally drew around a hot water bottle and made an envelope style thing at the back, and just made sure I left it open with and just put some binding around the top. So and you know, obviously you have to allow a seam allowance because you want to get your hot water bottle in and things. So yes, that was that. So where are we? So I've mentioned thank you for my well wishes and my illness and things, hot water bottle. Right, bag. Now I'm in Mandy Shaw's Secret Society, and basically you get a transfer every month where you do a red work block, which I haven't been doing the red work block, and you get the linen to do it on, but I use most of my linen to make a pair of shorts. The free pattern from Peppermint magazine, you might have seen these white shorts, and but you do get sometimes you get a pattern, or you get a little project or whatever. So this month, well, not this month, in August, you got a little kit to make a little pouch, and also you got a download. I say download, it was basically a pattern that you could access off the website, and you had to download it to make a bag, and the little pouch that you received in the post was meant to go with the bag. Now Mandy says you can't now share on social media your little projects and things until the payment for the next one has gone out, just in case you ruin the surprise. However, the bag, when I made the bag, I did share the bag before obviously the next payment to come out, because it doesn't matter. It basically, that one, everyone got it emailed to them, that download pattern. So it didn't matter, because even if you hadn't received yours yet in the post, which I hadn't, you already knew that you were going to get a bag pattern. So I felt like it was okay to share the bag, and other people were sharing the bags. However, I held back from sharing the pouch because you know, somebody in a Facebook group was trying to help someone make theirs, and they'd put a picture of it in the comments, and it had upset a few people and things. So what I decided to do, because what had I made? Oh, that was it. Because I'd shared my Mandy Shaw Secret Society delivery on my last video, I warn people a number of times in my video that I'm going to be showing it. I also put a little notice out in a group that there's a lot of Mandy Shaw people, fans, and I just mentioned, oh look, I've shared it in my video. So it was a kind of bit of a double-edged thing. So if you did want to see it and you're not in the club, you could go and watch it. And also, if you didn't want to see it yet because you hadn't had yours, don't watch it. However, I was one of the later people to get mine anyway, so so I shared my unboxing and things, but I did get a little bit of grief. So basically, when I did the video on the Monday and shared with you, when I shared it in this group on the Tuesday, and I wasn't feeling all too well that day, and actually the next day I was probably at my ultimate worst. Somebody decided to wanted an argument with me, and you know, you don't really want to argue with people online, but you know, I will defend myself. And she was giving me grief that I was saying that I'd shared an unboxing on YouTube. She basically, when did YouTube join, was the first comment, you know. But you know, when you realise people are just kind of on things to cause trouble, because then the daughter joined in, and It's a bit of a nightmare, but you know, I just thought I'm going to defend myself, and I knew I've done nothing wrong. But you know, I soon realised these people, they just wanted to argue with somebody, and I wasn't going to give them that argument. So anyway, so here is the bag and the pouch. So the pouch is what you saw me unboxing when it was just a bunch of bits, and the badge and things. And this is the downloadable project. Now, we did feel a little bit like I was dressmaking when I made it, because you feel like you're making a pair of jeans, because you're basically doing jean pockets. And I've put them on the back as well. I think you was only meant to put them on one side, but I've put them on the back. And actually what I'll do is I'll pop some photographs up of the bag and the pouch, just in case you can't really see it properly. In the photographs it looks different, the denim looks a different colour in different lights and things. Now how I have done something slightly different. When I sewed the handle, I took the seam allowance in a little bit thicker, because I wanted it to be quite flush, because I felt like my webbing was narrower. So if I'd have done it with the seam allowance, well, what a seam allowance, I don't know if Mandy puts she's normally 1/4 of an inch seam allowance girl, but I don't know if I went bigger with this, I can't remember now. But I wanted it flush, so I made sure that it was going to be flush with that. I ordered the supplies from Mandy. What Mandy wants you to do with the pocket is you have the lining fabric inside the pocket, but I didn't do that. I know it's cute to do that, but because of the dressmaker in me, I made the pockets like I would if I was making a pair of jeans, basically. So I didn't bother using the lining fabric inside. What I did make a mistake. I've rectified the mistake, but when I made it, I accidentally, because the seam runs down the middle here, I sewed it together like that, this way, that way. So I ended up with a bucket bag. I don't know if you can imagine. I ended up with a bucket bag like this. So and I'd already boxed the corners, but thank goodness I'd decided not to trim the excess off. So I managed to unpick the unboxed corners, unpick my seam, and then I turned it around and then boxed it that way. But on the plus side, I now know how to, Mandy does sell a pattern called the bucket bag, and now I know how to make it. But what I would say is, if you was making a bucket bag, you wouldn't want a long handle. It'd be more that you put a short handle and you kind of move it around your craft room and put your knitting in it or whatever. So and another thing I did differently, I bought this as a kit from Mandy, the supplies, and I think the strap was supposed to be 18 inches. Let's have a look at 18 inches. Now 18 inches is about that much, so say if you put that into your seam as well, you're looking at it would be about that big, which would be perfect if you wanted a shoulder bag, wouldn't it? Just put on your shoulder. But I wanted a crossbody bag. However, I will admit, because I've left it full length, it is really long, really long. It kind of looks like a bit like hippie-ish, but I could do some adjustments to it. But I've left it for now because obviously in the winter, and sometimes you've got a big coat on, you know, and you've got all these layers. You bulk up a bit, don't you? So look how long it is. Look, I'm right down. It's really like hippie, isn't it? Like slouchy. But why I liked it a bit longer, when you have a crossbody bag, if you have it a bit too high, if you want to get anything out of it, it can be a bit like this. So I kind of like, I can be sitting in the passenger seat in the car with my husband, and if it's still across my shoulder with my seat belt, I can kind of still, my phone starts going, I can still get in my bag because there's enough give. So what I'm going to do, I have used it so far and I've not found it an issue with it being so long. But if I did find at a later date, no, I want it shorter, I'll make it shorter. Or maybe I'll wear it out and make another one. So anyway, so I'll pop that down. So yeah, that's a really enjoyable make. I think that's all I want to say. Oh, one little thing actually. You may notice if you make this pouch, this zip pouch, your binding might look thicker than mine, because I kind of just went ahead and did whatever I thought. But when I looked at the pattern, Mandy wanted you to join 2 pieces of binding and put that ribbon in the middle, so your binding would look a little bit thicker on there, which probably would have looked nicer in all honesty. But I'm happy with it and it all goes lovely. So yeah, that's a lovely make, and I might put some more badges on it, you know, who knows. So so I've said about my mistake, yeah, and obviously I've mentioned that I have to watch what I'm posting online, but I find that in my videos it's not so bad. Like I think it's safe to show those now anyway, but obviously sometimes that's why I have to warn I'm doing a Mandy Shaw unboxing a few times, just so nobody misses it and then gets a bit upset kind of thing. So the next make is, I've made the J. Lee Clara leggings. Now this is such a clever pattern. I've left it here so it's all to hand. And there's 2 versions. You have a version where you basically just fold over the top. So I think your leggings is literally, if you do that version, it's literally 2 pieces. You have a crotch piece, like a triangle, and the leggings is all 1 piece. Or the version that I did, you have the triangle crotch piece. The leggings are basically all 1 piece. This is the clever part about it. And then I did the one with the waistband. So you have 2 pieces for the waistband. So mine, it kind of, I will pop some pictures up, but mine kind of had like a thick waistband here and then the leggings. And it doesn't have a centre crotch seam, like down here. You do have a seam down your bottom, but you don't have one down the front, and that's what's so clever about this. You basically, your pattern, when you cut your leggings out, the leg pieces are literally, they're going to wrap around your legs. So when you cut it on the fold, that fold is that centre where your centre seam would normally be, and when you sew it all together, it's literally 1 leg piece. So you don't even have a seam. See what with jeans, you've got a seam down here. With those leggings, you don't have a seam all the way down your leg either. You only have a centre inseam and the back seam, and obviously I had a seam round here because I had a band. So I'll pop some photographs in now. Like in some of the photographs they might look green, in some of the photographs they might look black, but they're actually green. I've got the fabric here. So this is apparently is a fir green, and it's from Guthrie and Garney, and it's a 4-way stretch. I think it's got 60% stretch. Correct me if that's wrong. I think it's 60. It's a 4-way. So I've made this mistake in my videos before and called things a 2-way stretch or whatever. But basically, it's a bit confusing, isn't it, when you say something's a 4-way stretch? But what the 4-way means is it will stretch that way, that diagonal, and that diagonal. So that's what is classed as your 4-way stretch. If something's classed as a 2-way stretch, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it might be just that way and that way, but I can't see why it wouldn't go that way as well. So it is a bit confusing, but I know what a 4-way stretch is, but I'm a little bit confused now about what 2-way stretch is. But so basically, when you're making things like leggings and things, you do need something that's going to stretch always, and you must check that. Like there is a minimum stretch on this. And some things don't need a lot. Like this, what I'm wearing is an old Tilly and the Buttons Agnes top that I only really wear in the house now because it's a bit aged, or like under something at ice skating. If you've made the Tilly and the Buttons Agnes before, you might think, well, that neck looks a bit high, but I raise the neck on my pattern, so I've never made the low neck on the Agnes, which I will be doing, but I've made 2 Agneses and I've always done a high neck so far. So yes, this is a clever pattern, and I loved it basically. You know, the only thing I would say is I had one overlocker that just wouldn't cut the fabric, even though I had a new blade in it. My other overlocker, with not a new blade, it just went through that beautifully. I did sew a little bit on my machine. I think I did the centre back seam on my sewing machine, and my sewing machine, it did do it, but I didn't like the results much. Normally when you sew on your sewing machine on a knit fabric, you do like a zigzag stitch or you have a lightning bolt stitch, but this pattern tells you to do a straight stitch, right, but you stretch the fabric while you're sewing it, so then it's got that give. But when my husband looked at my bottom, he said it looks as if it could go on the bottom. I was pretty confident it wouldn't go, but however, just to be on the air of caution, I went back over that seam with a zigzag stitch on my sewing machine, just to be sure, on that centre back after I'd finished making them, just because I didn't want to, you know, it going, because I'd planned to make them to wear to the gym. And obviously, you know, that's what I wanted. So I wanted them to be okay. So I don't know if you remember, or you've watched the video where I've been showing you my experience with the seam work course, Design Your Own Wardrobe. And one of my plans in my designs was a green gym outfit. So that was half of the outfit made, the leggings. I'm doing that. The leggings aren't here actually, it's just all the leftover fabric. So I went on. Now this is further down my list actually, but I'm going to jump down to it. And I actually made a sports top. Now on my plans, I did a little drawing. Maybe I'll pop a photograph on my drawing. You'll see that I wanted a little vest top that kind of went round on the neck and kind of down here and fitted and sleeveless and things to go with it. And I'll show you the photograph where I got my idea from, and it was from Pinterest, and I downloaded it to my mood board. So that was my vision. Hopefully you've seen some photographs coming up. So I found a top on the Seamwork website, which I thought, oh, it's fabulous. It's because it's going to be free for me to download because I've joined this thing. So, and this is the pattern. It's the K sports set. Now it does come with a pair of shorts. So, you know, very similar to the J-Lee, because you can have those in a shorts version as well. But with these, I think you would have a centre front seam and a side seam, and there is a waistband, but it's a lot thinner. But I just wanted the top. Now it looks, you know, it kind of like sort of sits here, I'd say, on the model, modelling it. So I suppose you'd have a little bit of chest popping out depending on your bra and things. But now I've got some photographs of mine and I'll pop them here, and I've put them on my dress form. Now I've not posted a photograph of myself in it. I did attempt it after I'd done this and posted about it. I did put it on, but I just think, gosh, I look like, what do I look like in it? Like I'm in a sports magazine for guys. It's all boob, basically. Now, you know, as a woman, I think you do, well, how I feel, I do want to feel sexy, I do want to look nice, but there's that, and there's there's crossing a line. Now, if I wore that in the gym, I don't think I'd get a minute's peace, because I think just everybody, your boobs would be hanging out basically, even if you wasn't doing anything crazy, just sitting on a bike and cycling, and imagine, you know, when you start leaning forward, or and if I was to go to a class and you've got to bend over and lean forward, basically they're going to be getting a right eyeful. So I thought, I can't wear that to the gym. Now, I did try lifting it up the straps and making it so it's sort of fitted under here more rather than down here, and taking a bit off, but it just didn't look very nice then either, the shape. So I don't know whether to go back. I've still got fabric left to just go back to the drawing board and redraw it. I might do that, I don't know yet, but I don't feel like doing that at the moment. But I just think for now, just wear the leggings, wear it with a white t-shirt or something, and but so that's where I'm at with that. But do you know what, as a make, it was great. You know, you're making two tops and you're sewing it together around the neck, and then you kind of do like a burrito method, so there's no there's no raw edges inside. It's such a neat, tidy make. It's really lovely construction, but it's just unfortunate I look all boob on it. So people have suggested wearing a sports bra, but I think the shape, if I was to wear a sports bra, I think it would have to be very round. I've looked at my sports bras and they're very pointy, and I think it would just look really weird with that low round edge. I think I'd have to watch the colour. And somebody else suggested I put a panel of lace, basically forget the gym, put a panel of lace across here, and actually I would consider that, putting something quite a dense lace, so a panel across here, and I could actually wear it as a top with jeans or shorts and things in the summer. So I'm not totally given up on it. And so yeah, I could wear it for bed, couldn't I, you know? So that's where I'm at with the sports top. So anyway, so the next thing I'm going to chat to you about is I've made another maiden bracelet, and the maiden bracelet is a knitted thing, and you do cable knitting. Sorry if you think, oh gosh, not another one, because I made one years ago in a pink colour that got a bit tatty, and I've more recently made a green one, a pale pink one, and now I've made a very bright pink one. It almost looks like pinky purple kind of thing. So I've made another one, and I think I'm a bit addicted to making them. But yeah, I haven't started another maiden bracelet, but this is my recent one, if I haven't put the picture on there already. So that's another one. Badges, right, I've bought a gadget for my family. It's not just for me. You know that you may have heard me mention that I homeschool my middle child, and basically my kids are really like arty and crafty and things, and so I basically bought a badge maker. And now badge makers aren't a new thing, but this was a new one. It was on an introductory offer, and I could pay like a flexi payment on it, and that came, and I've been making badges. Now I have made some for myself, but my kids have been making them, but I haven't shared what the badges that my kids have made, because obviously that's their business, isn't it? They might not want that shared, but I have shared some of the ones I've made. So the first one I made is a John Scott one. Hopefully you've seen a photograph of it. And John Scott is a presenter. He was on Sewing Street, and he's going to be doing his own show soon, and John's lovely. I've met him a few times, and he actually sent me a New Year card, which was up on a notice board, but his picture was in a round circle, so I cut it out and I've made it into a badge. Unfortunately, that one isn't laminated because I was having a practice, so it's kind of like a matte look. As long as I don't get it wet, it's fine. So the badge is now on the notice board. Then I went on to make a couple of more badges, and now I've showed, it's not here now, but it's normally here, but I've got a sticker book. So when I get sewing themed stickers, I actually put them in a sticker book, or any kind of stickers that I want to keep. But 2 of them were circles, and I'd received them from Poppy to Frey when I've ordered things. So now I've turned those into badges, and those are laminated, and they look like I've bought the badges. I'm really pleased with them, they're so good. And then I've used some of my Tilly and the Button badges, small badges, stickers, and made a piece and made a big one. However, I don't think that looks quite as good because you can see the sticker edges. I think the overall look does look a bit better if you just use one flat piece. So yes, that's a really good gadget, and it's from We Are Memory Keepers, so it's a lovely addition to my family. So that's that. Now, right, this is quite funny. I have agreed, I applied to be a pattern tester for somebody. I can't remember what I had to fill in for this application, but I did it, not really thinking I was going to get accepted, and I was accepted. And I'm being a pattern tester for Jennifer Lauren. Now, this is quite funny. Now, I'm going to be making a coat. Now, I've never made a coat before. The coat has princess seams. I've never done princess seams before. I've never made a Jennifer Lauren pattern before. And I've agreed to do this, and basically, and we've got 3 weeks to do it, and we've been given all these questions we've got to answer. So I've really put myself in for this, haven't I? And actually, in my last video I was saying that I was thinking of making the Carol coat out of Sew magazine that had no fastenings, but I didn't know if I was going to have time and don't hold me to it. And now I'm making this massive coat. Now, another thing I said I wasn't going to be doing, now if you go back to my seam work, on my mood board there was a pink coat on my mood board, a number of coats, and I did put a bit pink. So actually, I'm actually going to make a pink coat, and I did say that I wasn't going to order any swatches for my seam work, but because I really wanted to get this coat right, I actually ordered swatches. So it's quite funny because I have started watching other YouTubers, and often they say they're going to do something and don't end up doing. I keep telling you things that I'm not going to be doing this, I'm not going to be ordering swatches, I'm not going to be doing this, I'm not going to be doing a physical mood board, not going to do this, but then I end up coming back on my videos and I have done these things. So it's quite, I do make myself laugh actually sometimes. So anyway, so as it stands, the swatches have came. I've ordered the outer fabric. I don't think I've got the interface that I need, and I think I've got a fabric that I'm going to use for the lining, and I don't know about the fasteners yet. I think you can use snaps or buttons. So that is where I'm at the moment. So I'm waiting for delivery. So that is probably going to take up a lot of time. It's already taken up quite a lot of time because on the weekend I basically printed all the pattern pieces and cut all the edges and pieced them together. Now, I have seen YouTubers complaining about this, and you know what, I used to think, I don't know what your problem is, in all honesty, because I'm a paper crafter. I like cutting fabric, I like sticking things together, I like that kind of thing, and up until now I have enjoyed it. However, my goodness, this was a job. This, like, it might look nothing here, but this was a massive deal. There are just so many pieces. Now, those I haven't cut out yet, a few of these small pieces, I've just kept them as one piece, but all the other pieces, like, I don't like rattling paper around on my YouTube videos, but there is loads. Now, I think that this, having loads of pattern pieces, is going to make the job easier later on, because the separate pattern pieces for the lining pieces. So it's not like you've got this outer piece and you've got to cut out 4, that's 2 outers, 2 lining. All your lining pieces have got separate pattern pieces, so later on I think it's going to make the organisation and the construction a lot easier. But My advice would be, if you was going to do probably a coat pattern, especially one that's got princess seams and things, I'd probably get it sent off and get that pattern sent to you. Basically halfway through I decided to do that, but because I'd saved my files to my Apple Book folder, when I tried to upload them to a website that would print them out for you, it was going into my files. I couldn't access the files in the books, so I just thought, oh, I'm just gonna crack on. And you know what, I was like an old person. Do you know when you've been leaning over, because I was doing this on the floor on my crochet cushion, but do you know, every time I had to stand up and have a break, because I was putting bits of paper in my recycling in between cutting these out, I was struggling to stand back up again. I was like, oh gosh, and I was like absolutely dying by the end of it, and I had to do some back stretches and things. I was in such a bad way, so, oh gosh. So yeah, it's been a job, so I really hope at the end of this I'm going to have a beautiful coat at the end of it. Let's hope, because what I've already been through with this and what I'm going to go through making this coat, I really hope I've got a beautiful coat at the end of it. So my videos might slow down a little bit, because I'm guessing that's going to take me some time. So, but what you might see a bit of knitting popping up here and there. I'll get to the knitting in a bit. But so basically, I've told you about the pattern set. I told you I've ordered my swatches and I've ordered my fabric, and I've ordered my fabric from Minerva Crafts this time. Right, my next thing on the list, needle injury. Right, I have had a little bit of an injury as well. When I tidy up between each project, and when I was tidying up my fabric from my pyjamas, my black with white spot fabric, I was picking up all these pieces, and I've done this many times. I've had a pin prick because there's a pin in the fabric on the floor, and it's normally a bit of an ouch, and that's it. Anyway, this was a bit of an ouch, and I looked at my hand, and my hand was just covered in thick blood, and I thought, my goodness, what on earth? Why is it so bad? Because I literally looked at it straight away, went to the sink and swilled it, and I had a vein literally bulging out, and I'd actually gone straight into this vein, and it was just my hand just bulged out with this vein, and I had to wrap it up in a tea towel, and I had my hand in the air, and you take it away, it kept bleeding, and yeah, so be careful of that. And the reason the injury was so bad, it wasn't because it was just a pin, it was actually a chenille 24 gold needle. It's actually quite a thick embroidery needle with a wide eye, so I think it's just thicker than your average pin, and I had lost one, and that's where it had gone. So yes, I was a bit injured from that as well, but thank goodness I was on antibiotics. I think it's sorted out a few things, because I've been having some ear problems for a while, and like, I don't know if it's just coincidence, but my ear problem has got better. I'd had a sore in my nose because I literally have hay fever for months, and my nose is always bad. So I think it's sorted out, my antibiotics sorted out the sore, and yeah, and I think it might have helped with not getting no infection in my hand. So I think these antibiotics just kind of, it made me feel a bit, oh, you know, but it's sorted out all these problems. And actually, a thing I didn't mention about this fabric, now I like to give an honest opinion about fabric, and I was a bit, and as you know, I was a little bit disappointed with this supposedly organic cotton fabric. Now I have got another of these fabrics in a striping, and the quality was much better, but I've been a bit disappointed with this one, so much so I don't know whether to actually send a sample of this off to Tilly in the Buttons. I'm not going to know it's not Tilly's fault because she's working with a company, but the fabric, yeah, basically I washed it, and things, and it came out, look, I don't know if you can see that, but that is how it came in places. It came out of the wash, and actually when I cut out my pyjamas, I've had to dodge these white streaks that were in the fabric. So I'd already told you about the problem that when you sew it, even if you use dark thread, the white is shining through it. But there was also this problem, so I might attempt washing this bit in the washing machine and actually seeing if that white residue comes out and see what happens. And if it doesn't, I might send a sample off to the company that it came from, and also you know, just basically to people who might need to know about it actually, because there might be a company that's selling the fabric that it's getting made in another country and they think they're getting a certain quality and they're not. So I think as a customer, I think we should let people know. It's not, I'm not after anything. I just think, you know, I'm a bit disappointed with it really. It's a bit scratchy. Like it feels softer on the inside, I will admit, and that's the bit that's going to be on your skin. But this is a fabric that I bought years ago at the NEC, a show at the NEC. It wasn't advertised as anything organic or anything, but it's been ever so soft. It is what, like a white, well, grey on the inside. I wouldn't say white. Maybe it was white and it might have like gone grey. But I've never had a problem with stitching coming through. Like a look, wow, it wasn't stitching that was coming through. You know, the white shining through with it, and it's quite you know, tight and things. So yeah, so that's one thing with that. So the needle injury, the fabric, the spot fabric, right? Knitting. Now this is totally spontaneous. The weather is feeling quite a bit cooler. However, I did watch Countryfile last night and it did say that the weather's going to get a bit warmer again, so I think I'm going to be back in shorts and you know, strappy vests, I think, probably tomorrow, you know, the way the weather's looking. But it has been feeling much cooler, more of an autumn feel. And you know, when you sit down and you watch telly in the evening and it's dark and it feels so late, and then you look at the time and like, gosh, my husband is saying, it feels so late. So the nights, I know the nights have been drawing in for some times, because when you get your summer solstice, the longest day, after that point they are getting slightly shorter, but you don't hardly notice to start with. But I really felt like I'm starting to notice. My husband was sitting there, you know, with his headphones on and his laptop, or was watching telly and things. And I thought, wow, I might do something. I'll sit here. So I've got a magazine. I was going to hold the magazine up. I've had this magazine for ages. Basically, I saw this magazine in Hobbycraft. You know, I'll take a photograph of it and I'll insert it in. And it's basically all from a designer, Amanda Berry, and I've knitted her patterns before. Now, I saw this magazine in Hobbycraft a long time ago, and I didn't buy it because I don't let myself have everything that I see that I like. You know, you have to rein yourself in. And I know a magazine isn't, you know, a really expensive item, but you know, I try and behave myself and, you know, look after money, because, you know, there's not an endless supply of it, is there? You know, so I don't get everything that I want. Anyway, do you know when you think to yourself, oh, I really wish I'd bought that magazine, I really wish I'd bought it. Anyway, one day I was in Hobbycraft. This was before Corona had started and lockdown. Well, it might have started, but lockdown and things hadn't started. And there was one copy, and I thought, right, I'm having it. I'm having that magazine, you know. And it'd been out a while, because I don't think it was like a monthly one. I think it's just one that it's a bit like there's things for all time of year. And so actually, I got my magazine. I'd come across the magazine because I'd been tidying around and vacuuming and things, and it was mixed up with some cookery books. And so I got the magazine and I had a look through my cotton yarns, the ones I've been knitting my maiden bracelets. And I thought, oh, I'm going to make the little jack-o'-lantern. And I know I've got little like doll eyes that'll probably be a suitable size. I had a look, thought, oh yes, so I sitted there and I knitted that. And I thought, you know what, I've got my twiggy tree. I've got 2 twiggy trees. I've shown you it before. Can I? I'll best not tip it. Hang on. Can you see a little branch here? I'm not going to tip it over because there's things sitting on the base. But I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to do a Halloween one and do all these little Halloween pieces. So the first one was the jack-o'-lantern, and then the next morning one of my kids saw it, and I said, oh, would you like it? Oh, he went, oh, that's so cool. He said, can I have it? I was like, oh, go on then. I just, you know what, it's quite an honour actually, because my kids are getting a bit older. If they want this thing I've knitted and they want, it's quite funny actually. I've knitted and crocheted a number of cute things, basically for display purposes for something, and often the kids have wanted them before I've actually done it, and I've gone, oh, go on then, have it, you know. So my little jack-o'-lantern is now in one of my son's bedrooms, but I did go on the next evening and I've done the little witch's hat, so hopefully photos are popping up and things. I'm just seeing actually there's a bit of glare off my staying in, and so does that look sorry, you've probably sat here the whole time watching this with this glare behind me. So yes, I've done the little witch's hat. So there's a number of different ones. There's like a spider and Frankenstein and things. The only thing I'd say about the spider, and there's a cat, a black cat, the kind of eyes in the pattern I haven't got, and because the cat is black and the spider's black, I do think the eyes that the designer has used would look a little bit better than just plain black eyes that I own. I don't know if I've got ones that size with colours, so I don't know if I would knit those unless I've got the right kind of eyes. So yeah, so maybe I can get little jack-o'-lantern back, maybe, but because we're only like early September, aren't we? Are we early September? 7th of September I'm filming this, so we've got a little bit of time to have for Halloween, haven't we? So maybe by the time I've knitted what I want to knit and do my little tree, he will be willing to part with the jack-o'-lantern, and I'll say, look, he'll be fine. I said, Mark, can I display this, and he can have it back after. So yes, that's where I'm at. I'm a bit you know, enjoying my knitting. Look forward to my Mandy Shaw boxes once a month and things. So that is where I'm at the moment. Now the peg bag that I showed you, still in here, and I've ordered some pegs from Amazon. So I've got some pegs coming. So hopefully I'll get some line washing time, won't I? But it's not all about hanging out wet washing, why I wanted the washing line again and the pegs. It's just basically sometimes it's a good way to photograph a quilt. If I make a quilt, it's nice to hang them up and things, and you know, if you do wash a quilt, you've got somewhere to let it dry naturally and things. So yes, that's where I'm at the moment. So at the moment, even though I really would like to make tops, that was my ultimate goal for the changing season, I've got to concentrate on a coat now, but the fabric hasn't arrived yet. So if I do get a bit of sewing time in here, I might see if I can make up a top or two or whatever. But if then the coat fabric arrives, that might have to get put aside if I'm in the middle of something and get cracking with this coat. So what have I done? So I might need a bit of luck. Wish me luck with all this with this challenge, you know. So I'm really putting myself out there, aren't I? So I really hope it goes well. And it like sizing wise, I'm going to be sizing up a little, I think, with it, because I want to be able to get a few. I think I want this quite a snuggly coat, and I might put a thicker lining in, and I want to be able to layer up and things. So I think if I just do it with the lining fabric and the medium interface Net recommends, and the fabric that I've chosen, I think the jacket's going to be a bit too lightweight, and I think I want something a bit cozier. So yeah, so watch this space. So it might be a little while, like it might be that maybe when I bring another video to you, I might mate, I might have a sewing mate done, I don't know. Just basically watch this space, I'll just see what happens. So yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to be bringing you next. Obviously I've got future tops, future coat, future knits, future Mandy unboxing, but at the moment it's just basically just see what comes next. But I'm really happy to bring this video to you today. I know it was a bit of a month one again, and it just seems to happen that way, that I make sure I've got enough to show you, then I don't get time to film, and then I've got loads to talk about. But thank you so much for watching today, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye.